What does a guy call his best friends? His testes besties, of course. Halloween is right around the corner, and you don't want to spook someone with your scary bush. Our friends at Manscaped want to help make your boys downstairs clean and best friends of their own. Manscaped is the #1 men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code HMT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use code HMT. Trick or treat, keep your balls neat. This episode is brought to you by Smell My Feet Candy. It's the only candy with the aroma and taste of real feet. Smell My Feet candies are beloved among trick-or-treaters and certain segments of the OnlyFans subscribers. This Halloween, give the kids what they ask for by name. Smell My Feet candy. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Just took a stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face! Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I'm Bryce Hansen. I have a PhD in spookology, so I'm an expert.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
You're an expert?
Uh-huh.
Boy, could have fooled me.
I'm not an amateur. That's the thing that should be most apparent when you hear us.
Well, everybody's got their opinions, and a lot of them fucking stink. And, I don't know. I'd like to hear other people's podcasts.
And what is your name, sir?
Oh, my name's Dr. David Day. I'm the foremost expert of scare.
No, you're Professor David Day.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't received your doctorate yet. You're like an adjunct.
What a foolish idiot.
And also with us today, someone from the gentler sex.
Say it. Say the thing that we all want you to say right now with the release of Borat. My wife!
Oh. Wow. All right. My wife, Erin Hansen.
Hi.
You got to get closer to the mic.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey, Erin, how's it going?
So we got a great episode today. We're going to be reviewing Trick or Treat. Trick. Apostrophe R treat.
Apostrophe treat.
Trick or treat.
Oh, okay. It's not the only one apostrophe.
Right.
We're such idiots.
We'll start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge where it makes you angry, 5 being an average film that hits all the expected marks, and 10 being so good it transcends genre boundaries. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film, and, forget about the plot and take a lot of time talking about personal issues and pissing off certain segments of our Apple Podcasts ratings.
It's my favorite thing to do now.
And later, we're not salty at all.
No.
We listen and we
certainly
adjust.
listen.
Oh, be honest, you've been bothered all week.
What? I cannot confirm nor deny these allegations. Later on, we'll be doing It Came From Social Media, where we may or may not read some 1-star reviews that we've gotten since we've released Bly Manor after show. And
I wish these people had the balls to call in to our voicemail line and really lay into us. That's what I really wish.
did we put the number on the Bly Manor after show?
I think we did. Yeah, every single episode, yeah. Not one voicemail from those people.
Yeah, but then we'd have their number. So that's, would you do that?
I wouldn't. Are you asking if I would do something malicious?
No,
if the answer to that is absolutely not.
Would you call into a show that you hate and berate them and give them your phone number?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to be playing a new game called Sense and Stabability.
Okay. That sounds like a Jane Austen sort of thing.
You'll see.
Okay. Jane Eyre?
It's new.
So let's get into the movie. We rented Trick or Treat, and it's Pulp Fiction for horror fans.
Yeah, that's
Let's
accurate.
Play the trailer.
During the spookiest time of the year, there are a few guidelines all ghosts and goblins should follow. Always stay on sidewalks. Never go to a stranger's house. And never go out alone.
This is the one night that all sorts of things roam free. Sorry. All these traditions. Wait.
What?
You're supposed to keep it lit.
Why?
Ancient tradition? Putting on costumes.
I look like I'm 5. You look great. What did we do now? We meet our dates.
Jack-o'-lanterns.
Why are we here? To pay our respects to the dead?
The Halloween school bus massacre.
They started to protect us, but
Morning, guys. How are you doing down there? Hiding buddies?
nowadays, no one really cares.
This one's still lit.
What is that?
It's them.
Oh my God.
Look at me. It's not a trick. It's real.
Tonight is about respecting the customs, not breaking them.
Trick or Treat. It can be found on all the streaming platforms for rent. I don't think it's free, quote unquote free on anything. I think it's on a couple of like the paid, like Showtime or HBO kind of things.
Yeah, I think
you can add on.
I think I paid for it on Amazam.
Yeah, I got on it on Amazam too. This movie reminds children of their worst fear during Halloween. Bryan Singer. Trick or Treat is an anthology film set during Halloween in suburban Ohio. 7 short stories are loosely interwoven with each other in a non-linear narrative to tell the dangers of eschewing Halloween traditions. Wearing costumes, giving out candy, and lighting jack-o'-lanterns are all part of the ancient traditions, whose purpose are long forgotten, but are made kind of apparent in this movie, I guess. They don't go into it too much.
Not too much.
Trick or Treat basically accomplishes in one movie what John Carpenter wanted to do with the Halloween franchise when they made Season of the Witch. That is, the telling of an assortment of spooky tales set during Halloween. The 7 stories told throughout the film are of varying quality and complexity, but the non-linear narrative structure keeps the audience engaged and never dwells on one story long enough to bore the audience. Most of the stories do little in the way of setup and prefer to jump right into the good scary part, which ends up being pretty effective for the film. It's a decent film that deserves to be on the rotation during the Halloween season. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, so I think the most important point in your review is the non-linear narrative structure keeps the audience engaged and never dwells on one story long enough to bore the audience. Mm-hmm. That is the thing that this movie, I think, hangs its hat on, is the weaving in and out structure, tying all of these events together from beginning to end. So it does provide a decent amount of rewatchability, although, you know, I mean, don't have to be tied to the TV screen necessarily to get spooky shit that goes on. And, I mean, this kind of like immediately fell into its own sort of cult classic status, kind of holds the same position that, well, maybe a little bit smaller a position that Nightmare Before Christmas kind of enjoys, which is like this really strong base of people who are like, this movie gets me. So, yeah, I mean, I think, though, I would agree with your score. The amount of enjoyment I got out of this is a little bit more than average, but nothing crazy. It's a good Halloween movie for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well made. I think it definitely proves that a decent amount of thought went into it, even though some of the ideas are kind of dumb and silly.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I think if you were to string together, if you're to tell the stories from beginning to end, each one of them, I'd probably get bored.
Oh, yeah.
On several of them. But when they chop it up and kind of keep you guessing
how they weave back into each other, that's kind of what makes it cohesive from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. What did you think, Aaron?
I agree with your review. I think I'd probably give it a 5.5, but I'm a little more critical of it because
0.5 more critical of it.
Yes, because I haven't seen a lot of like Halloween themed like holiday horror films. So,
this is it. I think you've actually have.
I've seen it. Then.
It's this and the one, and
this is
the Halloween franchise.
Yeah,
and you saw Season of the Witch. We should have had you on that episode too. Well, you were there while I was watching it.
I don't remember seeing Season of the Witch.
Well, you read the subtitles. You laughed at some of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't a terrific amount of movies that hang their hat on Halloween. There's Hellfest.
Well, what about the Halloween series?
Yeah, like you said, there's the series Halloween, but there's not a lot outside that I can think of off the top of my head. There are movies that coincidentally happen around Halloween, but as far as ones that are like, this is a movie about fucking Halloween, the night of.
I don't know. I feel like Hocus Pocus fills that for me.
True. And a great movie that is.
I think the difference is Halloween. Well, I don't know. I guess Halloween isn't really even a significant. No, that's true. So the difference between movies set during Halloween and the Halloween franchise in this movie is like Halloween and the tradition behind it and like the story behind it are a significant plot element.
Right. This is, yes, that's specifically what I'm kind of getting at, which is like this movie hangs its hat on Halloween and the traditions therein.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of hanging, how are your testicles doing? Because
man, I got that Perfect Package 3.0 from Manscaped, and let me tell you, I went hog wild on my hog. It I also went I also went kind of crazy on everything else too. So fair warning, you're going to want to shave every part of your body, just don't. Show some discretion. Show some discretion.
Did you use the guard or did you just go straight down?
I tried everything. In fact, I thought it would be a disservice to our listeners if I didn't, really like quality test this thing. And specifically, I'm talking about the Lawnmower 3.0, the trimmer, the electric trimmer. They have this thing where they're like, it's skin safe technology, and I'm like, I bet I can hurt myself with it. I tried and tried. I even went for the nip.
Just shoved it right into your sack.
I went right on the nip. I couldn't do it.
I'll tell you what. It is.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying I couldn't.
Yeah. There's something very unique about trimming your sack. Like, there's just, like, you can't appreciate how many wrinkles and how unwieldy it is.
Yeah.
And the good people at Manscaped really understand. And they are the number one in men's below the waist grooming. And, they offer precision engineered tools for your tool. So there's a lot of benefits to using Manscaped.
I got to tell you.
And we personally know now because they sent us their product. We got to test run it. And, I'm pleased with the results.
The two things I think I like the most are the ball toner. So is that I like the ball deodorant.
Oh, well, that is called their crop preserver. It's an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer.
Listen, I got sensitive skin. First of all, I used to travel a lot to some very to one place in particular. Africa really messed me up in terms of my skin. Gave me a rash, and I keep getting it. So I'm very leery about like moisturizers and stuff because they will often give me rashes. This stuff, none of that. It just leaves them just glistening, happy, moist, and smelling good.
Right. I mean, generally, moisture...
I should probably be looking at Aaron when I talk about this.
Moisture doesn't feel like a real problem for down there.
Oh, man, it is.
Like, I mean, I'm saying, like, there's not a lot of dry skin down there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not flaking off. So I would think, like, maybe, you know, moisturizer isn't necessary since it's usually pretty moist. But it does add to the experience, and it does noticeably,
unquestionably. And then the other thing that I appreciate very much, I'm wearing the shirt right now. The shirt and the boxers, man, I'm not a fan of these like compression like boxer brief boxers, and that's what these are. But they don't bother me at all. You know why? Because it comes with a decent amount of carriage for your junk. You know, it's not keeping everything pressed up against you all the time. It lets them breathe.
Yeah. We could go on and on forever about Manscaped, but the important thing is that you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code HMT at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com.
And
use
ladies,
code HMT at checkout and do your balls a service.
And ladies, if your boy's got a nasty scrum, get that shit cleaned up for him. Help him out. He doesn't know. I didn't know I had a problem until I got this stuff. So help your boy out.
So what's your testimonial, Aaron? I mean,
I am happy that you gentlemen are improving your quality of life by taking care of your junk.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's take a minute and talk about ourselves, too. So if you like the show, if you love us talking about our balls, you know, hours on end, consider joining Patreon, where we continue on the conversation with our after-pod show, where we leave the mics running. Lots of other perks, like getting to vote on movies that we review every month. Check out our Patreon and all the different tiers. There will be something that you might be interested in. Also, if you're a big fan and you want to display horror movie talk proudly across your chest
or your bumper,
go to our shop on horrormovietalk.com. We got a bunch of stickers and apparel. You can support the podcast also by going to Amazon by clicking on the button in the banner of our website. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, we can get a little taste of that.
And finally, check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans, so make sure you contact him at DGOEBEL00. That's at DGoebel00 on Instagram, and make your artistic dreams come true. And make sure to tell him that HMT sent you.
If you want to leave us a voicemail, call us at 682-253-4468. If you need that number again, press rewind. Thanks again for listening. Let's get into spoilers. Spoilers. So, I should turn on.
What made you watch this movie, Aaron?
Bryce invited me.
I wanted her on the show.
And was it? So you're notoriously not a horror movie fanatic. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes.
She actually hates horror movies.
You hate horror movies.
She hates the experience of being scared.
No, I mean, everybody understands it's not. Okay, right. It's not because you hate them. It's because it's not a fun experience for you, correct?
Right. I mean, it's like saying I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
But you don't look at a mountain and go, oh no, a mountain.
Fuck
it's high.
you, mountain.
Yeah. No, you're afraid of the feeling of falling.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to avoid that feeling.
Right.
And so when I watch a scary movie, it makes me feel scared. And I don't particularly like feeling scared. So I usually avoid horror movies. This one seemed like
this is pretty friendly because it's
seemed
PG-13.
like I can handle it.
Yeah. There's no on-screen deaths.
Oh, well, that's interesting because in terms of, there are a few PG-13 movies that go really hard, and this is, I would say, one of them.
Right.
I didn't realize it was PG-13, but it's right up there with like The Ring and Drag Me to Hell is another one that goes really, really hard, but manages to stay right under that R mark.
I think it's probably because it's so disturbing to see violence against kids, and then like have that just be in a PG-13 movie, even if it's off screen, it's still pretty disturbing.
It's weird to find out how different stuff scares different people, you know? Just violence against kids is, some people that's their thing.
Right.
You know? Other people, it's
couldn't care less about kids.
Couldn't care less.
Fuck them.
What?
That's Bryan Singer's job. So let's.
I don't understand this Bryan Singer reference exactly. Can you help me out? No.
Oh, Bryan Singer, like
he's a director.
He's a director and producer. And it came out that he had like lots of parties with young boys and was a pretty well-known secret. This is like pre-Me Too. This is like when they're talking about Hollywood, like open secrets in Hollywood, and when they're talking about like Corey Feldman talking about like pedophile rings and stuff, like Bryan Singer is brought up in those conversations a lot.
Aha. Wow.
They're all allegations. We can't confirm nor deny whether Bryan Singer is...
Well, we're a very serious media outlet.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, we are professional podcasters. So.
Yeah, very professional.
Yeah.
Very, very.
So, anyways, so let's talk about this movie. So, it says in the synopsis on IMDb that it's 5 stories, but I counted 7.
Okay.
There's the couple at the beginning, which is just the woman that doesn't like Halloween and the guy that's super into it, and she's like trying to take down decorations and gets murderized.
Yes.
You know, the guy from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, was he from Battlestar? I can't think of what role he was in.
He was...
Oh, yeah. Yes, obviously. Okay. No,
he wasn't Adama, but he was the other guy.
Right.
The other pilot.
Yeah. He was number 1.
Sure.
Adama's number 1.
Yeah. No. Yes? I don't know. It's been a while since
it's been a long time.
Number 2 is the 4 girls going to a party. Number 3 is Principal Wilkins / serial killer /
dad,
son.
Yeah.
4 is the young kids with Rhonda the retard.
Okay.
I'm just quoting the film.
Whoa.
No, they clarify she's an idiot savant,
Yeah,
which is
she's
also
not a
a
retard.
term that
They
is not
started out
acceptable
by
anymore.
introducing her as.
Right. As Rhonda the retard.
Right.
But Rhonda the idiot savant doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Right.
So it's really just shorthand for, whatever. 5 is just the random vampire encounter.
Yeah.
Which actually worked for me pretty well. Like it was the shortest segment, but it was one of the ones that I liked the most.
Yeah.
With like the woman walking around with like bleeding out of her neck and just looking around. There's other people with makeup to make them look like that.
Yeah,
that was Suki from True Blood. That's the main character from True Blood.
No, this is before that.
Oh.
She's one of the 4 girls.
Right.
But
she's attacked by the vampire.
Much later.
Yes.
Yeah. She's one of them that is attacked. That's what the stories interweave.
Right. It's hard to it's hard to reference any part of this movie because it does weave around so much.
Right. Let's see. 6 is like a story within a story. It's the school bus story. So the 4 young kids with Rhonda the retard.
Well, that counts as the Rhonda the retard story.
They tell a story because then it shows the story. It's separate.
Okay. I think the first one with the Battlestar guy doesn't necessarily count. That's more of an intro story.
Well, you could say they're all one story since they all interweave.
I'm just trying to make the IMDb description make sense.
Sure. So the school bus story, I don't want to be indelicate describing it.
Okay.
But
it's a short bus.
It's a short bus.
Right.
And it has a long drive off of a short cliff.
Wow.
And then finally, Mr. Krieg, starring, what's his name? Brian
Cox.
Yep. And that kind of wraps up everything. And that's the one with actually the kind of the mascot of the movie.
Yeah.
He's never really named in the movie, but everyone calls him Sam.
Yeah.
Or I think there's another name for him too, in the credits. But anyways, so that's all the story. So out of those, which one was your favorite?
Me?
Yeah.
I guess it would probably have to be Mr. Krieg and Sam toward the end. That was plenty of fun. If I had to say one was competing with it, it would be the group of girls, because they were very pretty and they undressed at some point.
Yeah,
and it was nice. Yeah. What about you guys?
I like the Mr. Krieg and Pumpkin Boy. That was my favorite. I thought that was the most entertaining part. Although the Mr. Wilkins serial killer stuff was
very funny.
That was also funny and really creepy. But I thought the Mr. Krieg was even better. So
yeah, for me, it's kind of a tie between Mr. Krieg and like the younger kids going down to the quarry.
That was pretty good. That was a lot of fun because it kind of, I don't know, it had the feeling of one of those true to life sort of things that might happen in childhood.
That one had the best beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. Because
it starts with them walking and talking about it, and then they get there, tell the story, and then like
it's a story you've heard 1,000 times. Which all of these kind of are.
Yeah.
You know.
And then it's a fake out, and then like a real dark ending. That probably had like the best dark ending out of all the stories, really, other than just being murdered.
I really like they cover, like, they really try and cram as many different tropes into this as they can, right? So like they got their doll/puppet horror themes covered with kind of Sam, who's also happens to be like very pumpkin themed like he covers so many tropes all in one. He's like a scarecrow and a pumpkin and a fucking doll and a puppet and like and he likes candy a lot. Like, you know, he's got all the slasher tropes covered and all these other tropes covered. And then, you know, they got werewolves, vampires. They got like they just cram all this psycho serial killers. The next door neighbor who's a lunatic. The next door neighbor who seems like a lunatic but isn't. He's just a cadre. You know, it's like all of the burbs is even in there. You know,
you got werewolves and vampires
and the poison candy and the candy with the razor blade in it.
Yeah, you got the fat kid dying first. All of it.
Right.
Not quite dying first. I guess he made it, but he was pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those two were the ones for me. And then what's your least favorite out of them? Which one worked the least?
If I was going to say one didn't work for me very well at all, it would have to be the vampire encounter, just because it just didn't stick with me very much. It was like, okay. So there's a guy who's either a vampire pretending to be a vampire walking around.
Right. Because that's the one where it's like the thinnest and where you start rolling your eyes about like the interweaving, because the vampire is Mr. Wilkins.
Right.
And
the psychopathic serial killer who's also a dad.
And then he also is like caught up in the four girls party, where it reveals that they're not girls going to a party. They're like,
this even has
werewolves doing it's confusing.
This even covers the underworld aspect, like vampires versus werewolves kind of thing, you know? Like,
so this is confusing to me, because I thought they were witches and they were performing the ritual because they had a bunch of people surrounding a fire for like seemed like a human sacrifice, but no, they're actually just werewolves eating people.
Right.
But also doing a ritual. Didn't they mention the ritual too?
What was your least favorite?
Yeah, okay, so that was my least favorite storyline, was the girls going to the party, because it was, I don't know, because it was playing up the whole, she's a virgin, it's her first time, we gotta find a guy for her, and then they transition that into being, oh, well, she's gonna kill someone, and that's her first time, and then
that's her virginity. It's her killing virginity,
right? But they were like, when she said, like, she finally got to the party, and like, you know, Mr. Wilkins drops out of the tree, and it's and you discover that he's the vampire that's not really a vampire with fake teeth, and then she says, oh, he bit me.
It's a little much, right?
Yeah. And like, she says, oh, he bit me. I'm like, oh, well, she must be a vampire, and he bit her and drank some of her blood. And so that's why he's hurt or whatever. And then they're werewolves. Like, what? Like, cause they were like leading you to the assumption that this pretend vampire bit a real vampiress. And I don't know.
Yeah, they really try and cram as much into this as they. It's like, just fit all the Halloween shit
right
in here.
It's like the Valentine's Day of Halloween.
Right.
Or
I will say.
Love Actually. Oh, well, Love Actually was good, but.
The movie 43 of Halloween.
I will say, I really like the practical effects in the werewolf change were pretty cool. Like there are, there are a few really good, practical effects in this movie, and that's definitely one of them. But
yeah, there's something about just like, yes, it looks goofy. It looks goofy as hell.
But peeling it's still, off skin is like...
Yeah, it's still cool.
It still works. Yeah, it's the same thing as the American Werewolf in London. Like, it's one of these things where when you see it, you're forced to kind of conceptualize of how it would work if it were a real thing, and all this extending, and bone crunching and hair growth. Like, it's a really visceral. Yeah. It's like a Wolverine.
I think that was my issue with it, is that yes, the transition is great, and those were like the best effects in the movie, and that's always the best part of a werewolf movie, is like the transformation. But then when there's the reveal of like the actual werewolf heads, it's like kind of laughably bad. It's like, okay,
yeah.
It's not that great.
Right.
I think, I wouldn't say that one's my least favorite. I think that's like, because it's the most convoluted one.
Oh yeah.
And it's the most goofy one. And so as far as goofy fun, that one's the best.
Yeah. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, well, it's got everything. It's got boobs. It's got pretty women. It's got all the tropes crammed in there.
Yeah,
this guy's kind of goofy.
And it also has my favorite part of when Anna Paquin's character is at the party. She came alone, and she's looking for.
You mean Sookie?
Yeah, she came to the party, and she's looking for a guy, and it's the. I don't know. To me, it's the funniest part, because she keeps seeing a bunch of people that looks like they're, single men, and then it's revealed that they're not. So there's like the guy in the horse costume or minotaur costume.
Oh, right.
And then his ass stands up, and it's his girlfriend. And then there's like,
and she's having such a great time.
Yeah.
like who would do that couple's costume and put the girl?
Let me just come up for a little kiss, a little smooch, and then I'll go back to hugging your asshole.
Here we go. I mean, I'm not going to kink shame.
He probably uses Manscaped, and so it's not that bad down there.
Yeah, dude. HMT at checkout gets you 20% off.
And then the other one was like, she sees like this real beefy guy, with his back turned. He's like, ooh, that's pretty good. And it turns around, it's a woman, and then of course her like date comes up. It's like, well, can't even go the other way.
That's really sexist.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
I shouldn't.
We should neuter you, probably. You know, we should make you more respectful by bringing you down.
Well, if you want to neuter yourself, don't use Manscaped because it's very safe for your balls.
Let me tell you, I tried and I tried. In self-hatred,
that should be our goal. We should just mention Manscaped after every topic we cover.
I gotta get like a little Pink Floyd Cash sound. I wish.
And then it has like the most like ridiculous part where it shows her being approached by the vampire, and then the reveal is like the vampire falls out of a tree and is like messed up.
He's clearly been taken advantage of.
Broken.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a compound fracture coming out of his leg. And it's like, what? And it's like, oh, she's going to eat him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I think most people love, like truly love about this movie, and what I definitely like. I mean, you've heard me say it 1,000 times if you've listened to this show very much. This movie does the ambiance of Halloween very well. Like, this town is like the fucking Oktoberfest of Halloweens. It's got tons of people in a party all night long, just drinking and having fun in the street, and there's lights everywhere, and people are shoulder to shoulder, and they're all having a good, wholesome time, or not. And then every yard has hundreds of pumpkins in it, with not even one candle blown out. You know, everything's perfect, and it's just like, it's life only under like this, like with this supremely beautiful filter placed over it, and with everything being exactly as you imagine it being. And then,
right.
Yeah.
These houses with 100 jack-o'-lanterns, it's like, can you imagine how much work that would take? Like, I get through one, I'm like, God, I can't wait until next year when I get to do it. Or I'm so happy I don't have to do this for another year. Like, I get no enjoyment out of it because it takes like way too long, and I'm really crappy at doing them.
I'm
ready to be done. So these people with like hundreds of is it like an attrition thing, or are they just assuming all the kids are going to break their jack-o'-lantern, so they just like want to make enough to where they'll get bored of it?
I'm so jealous. My first inclination obviously always is to make fun of you and like put you down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I gotta say,
reaction.
I'm so similar. Like, I'm just like, I just want this to end. Why do I have to do anything ever? And I look at our Facebook group, Horror Movie Talk Facebook group, and there's so many people on there who just living their lives, just dressing up. Magnus is out there dressing up as one of the Ghostbusters. He's got his fucking apartment all decorated and shit. Other people got their houses all gussied up, and they love it. They're having a good time with it. And if I have to do one of those things, I'm like, oh my God. Honey, do you know what I did today? And she's like, what? You had fun with the kids? And I was like, yes, it was awful. It's like, yeah, I don't know what it takes a lot of effort to be a Grinch.
Because that's the other thing is, as a dad, like, you don't just get to make your own jack-o'-lantern. Like, doing the jack-o'-lantern just means, like, you're doing pretty much everyone's jack-o'-lantern.
Right.
Because you gotta, I mean, and you, Aaron, are also doing the jack-o'-lantern. But you're, like, usually managing the kids and like stopping fighting, and
preventing cut fingers.
It's like, okay, we gotta cut off the tops for the kids because we can't trust them to do that.
Preventing cut fingers is a thankless job, because if you do your job right, nothing happens and no one ever knows that you did anything.
Right. That's why I like to let one slip through.
Right. To show the other ones, hey, see what can happen?
And then you throw it over the fence at the neighbor's dog.
Right.
The finger?
Yeah, the finger.
Okay.
And then you get the pumpkin open, and the kids, like, you think the funnest part is going to be, like, messing with that gooey pumpkin inside and, like, pulling out that stuff. They take like, one or two, like, little tiny child handfuls, and they're like, ewy. Gross.
Man, my kids dive into those things. They like bathed in the pumpkins.
Our kids don't.
They're like, I just want it inside me.
Our kids don't like icky things, I guess, because it ends up me having to scrape 4 pumpkins,
Yeah.
And
I scrape my own.
And Erin scrapes her own. And then I don't even think they really cut. I guess they draw on them. Do we just cut them? I don't even remember.
Well, yeah, we have them draw on the outside, and then we cut it for them because they're. I mean, our oldest is 7.
Let's just do that 40 more times.
Hot pumpkin talk.
Anyways, other things I want to talk about that were notable to me. I saw in the trivia. And while we're still talking about kind of the werewolf orgy scene, it was originally cut to Peggy Lee's Fever, the song.
Oh, okay.
And then the studio stepped in and was like, hey, and the trivia says rightly suggested, I don't agree, suggested that they use something with more edge. So they chose Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams, which like completely dated the entire movie for me. I'm like, oh, this... I don't know. It just feels so high school whenever I hear Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, you have a good point there. It definitely dates it. But 2000, not to 2007, more to like 2003.
Like 1998.
Yeah, kind of.
So, yeah, that was a weird choice that they made. But also, I admit it does fit, but it's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Do people still... love Marilyn Manson?
Oh, yes. Are you kidding me?
I bet a lot of our fans do.
But Fever is a much more sexy song.
Right. And Fever is like such a more iconic song.
I mean, let's be clear. You two are, just recently ex-Mormons. So, yeah, to you, Fever's the sexier song. But to all the goths out there, Marilyn Manson is the obvious choice.
Right.
So, I mean...
Yeah,
it's all relative.
That sounds like a new poll for the Facebook group. Which song is sexier?
Fever or Sweet Dreams?
Sweet Dreams cover.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let me see. I know of a few people that follow us on Instagram that would definitely choose the Marilyn Manson one.
Right. And then finally, like, did you in the Mr. Krieg section of it, which was the last segment of the film, there were several points where it felt like callbacks to other things. So I counted at least 3 references, and there's probably more, but number 1 made me think of Treehouse of Horror, the shinning.
Because that shin of his.
Because it's like the writing all over the walls. She's like, if I look at his writing, it'll be a window into his mind.
Well, yeah.
Feeling fine.
But isn't that a callback to... Isn't that a callback to The Shining itself?
Well, no, The Shining, it doesn't write things on the wall. It's The Shining is, all work and no play.
I'm trying to think back to The Shining now. The last time I watched it was about a year ago. And I can't recall there being writing all over the walls.
That was the funny part, because in The Shining,
yes,
he had this giant pile of manuscript that was literally just one sentence repeated over and over again. And you're like, holy shit, he's insane.
Right.
He's like, this whole time he's been writing this one sentence.
Right. And the
so
joke
when
in
Marge
The
says, like, it'll be a window into his mind.
And she looks on the single piece of paper and he just has written feeling fine on it.
Yeah. And then the lightning goes off and reveals, like,
the whole room is covered in writing. That's crazy.
All work and no play make Homer a dull boy.
Right.
And so that's like what's in this story. Like, it has the trick or treat. Did it have smell my feet?
I don't
felt
know.
like it had the whole saying like written over and over again on the walls. And then the second one was a callback to Pet Sematary when he gets his Achilles tendon slashed from underneath the bed.
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
And then the last one was I cheated and looked in the trivia, was a callback to The Thing when the hand when the hand starts crawling off and he's like, fuck this.
Aaron, have you seen The Thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
I have, yes.
Oh, wow. That's great. How'd you make it through that?
I don't know.
Was it rough?
It was.
Yeah. When did you see it?
A few years ago, I think.
Did we see it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Man, that must have been an experience.
I mean, you're talking about the thing with
Kurt Russell.
in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean,
That's probably the thing. She's a big Kurt Russell fan.
I mean, he's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, touche.
One of our favorite movies is Big Trouble in Little China.
Uh-huh.
It's a John Carpenter flick. I get it.
Also, the other thing I read in the trivia is that Brian Cox's appearance as Mr. Krieg was based off of John Carpenter.
Oh. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah.
I recently watched John Carpenter's speaking of anthologies and John Carpenter, I recently watched his anthology series. Boy, I can't recall what the name of it was. I think Body Bags is what it was. It was on Shudder a month or two ago, and I watched it on there, and man, it was like. It was, well, I should say the first it was a 3-part anthology, and the first 2 stories were great. The third one didn't do it for me so much, but it was a lot of fun. And John Carpenter, narrated the whole thing. He was the narrator in the morgue there. He definitely, that was the first time I'd get to see him really act.
Yeah.
So pretty good attempt at making a John Carpenter looking kind of character.
Cool. So who would you, do you have anything you want to cover?
I don't know. Trick or Treat is one of these super staple kind of movies that I would recommend. You could easily play this and get away with it at like a Halloween party or anytime you have friends over and they're like vaguely watching the movie. This is a no-brainer. It's a very easy Halloween themed movie to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of it has a real cult following, and I didn't realize this was never released in theaters. It was slated to be released in theaters, and then the studio pulled it because they didn't want it going up against Saw 4. And then they didn't release it in 2008, and then they just released it on DVD.
It's an interesting move, and the callback there is, the original Saw wasn't supposed to be released in theaters, and then they did.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of interesting that Saw 4 shied this movie away from being released in theaters.
I think Trick or Treat might be ripe for a TV adaptation, like a Netflix serial
miniseries.
Yeah, like a miniseries where
you're right.
They take each story and they could tell a 20 to 30 minute episode, maybe 40-minute episode, and link them all together still. So because that's how with streaming stuff, that's you can like through watch and binge watch a whole series.
I mean it's ripe for a franchise.
I think there's a number 2.
Yeah, I thought so too, and there's not.
Oh, really?
There's lots of talk, and a lot of people want number 2, and I think it's written, but
honestly,
it's not getting made.
I want to know if the parents of those kids on the short bus get their comeuppance for hiring the bus driver to murder them. Like, I want to know, because it feels like in this movie there's kind of like some weird justice that kind of happens.
Right.
And like it feels like something should happen to those parents.
I imagine they died of grief.
Right.
Another thing I wanted to mention was I liked Sam a lot more, the little pumpkin dude, with his bag on his head.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they take the bag off. I don't like the way he looks. His little animatronic, dumb-looking pumpkin carved face.
Yeah, it would have been scarier if it was just like a kid.
Ooh.
Like it was.
Well, it was played by a kid.
Well, obviously, but I mean, like if it was just like a normal-looking kid that had these supernatural powers and was murderous.
Right.
Right.
It was actually played by the same kid that is the peeping Tom on the girls getting dressed.
Or it'd been super scary for Bryce if it had been a disabled young man or woman.
Right.
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 It's one of his biggest fears, right?
It is.
Does he talk to you about that?
He has in the past, and I have, have dressed him down for that. And
why?
Like,
he can't help what he's afraid of.
You
You're
you will
scared
not
of...
get it on you.
I mean, I know that.
You
rationally,
can't get cooties.
I'm a rational being. Like, I get it. I'm intelligent. I'm not going to catch retard by them touching me. But still afraid of it. Still could happen.
You know how you're scared of horror movies? There's no rational reason to be scared of them.
That's true. They're not going to hurt me.
Not going to hurt you. Just like the R words aren't going to hurt Bryce, probably. There's a higher chance of the R words hurting Bryce than there is of scary movies hurting you.
That's true.
They have that R word strength.
Oh my gosh.
I guess, like, the other bit of trivia, the characters on the people on the bus were played by
real R words?
Real mentally handicapped people.
Are you joking?
That's what it said in trivia.
Wow.
Which
I'm not even mad. That's
I really
great.
wish they would have gone harder into it. I wish they would have been like,
why put a mask on them?
but also, like, have them talk more, like, have it be more apparent.
I didn't even realize how bad what I said was.
I don't know how to audibly cringe as hard as I'm physically cringing right now.
A good job.
This is why we're gonna do it. Came from social media next. So final recommendations. Well, you already said put it on at a party.
Yeah, this is a great.
I think this is pretty accessible. I mean, it's PG-13.
I would not show this to kids.
No,
I wouldn't show it to kids.
No, I mean 13, maybe 12.
I'd say like 10.
Well,
I would say 10. Aaron would say
22.
12.
I'd say probably 12 because who's murdering the kids? The teachers and the school bus driver.
I know, it's great. That makes it scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement. It's great. It's horror movie talk.
As a former teacher, I would never murder any of my students.
I just want to say, to make it clear, I would never murder my children.
That's why you're a former teacher.
Yeah, you didn't cut it. You didn't have what it takes
to murder kids.
Oh. I mean, that's how you control a classroom is a legitimate fear.
Right.
Like, where did Johnny go? Like, people say.
You just kind of give him a little eye. You're like, a little wink, and you're like, yeah.
All right, let's move on to It Came From Social Media. We got a lot to talk about, and we gotta.
Oh boy,
we got to talk about it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yes, it came
from social media
to fill the world with terror, to bring you unforgettable suspense. What was it? Where did it come from? Who were the all-powerful creatures it brought
from social media?
And what did they want on Earth?
So It Came From Social Media is much different from horror movie horrors.
Very different.
Very, very different.
Can't express this enough.
This one, we read comments or DMs on our social media or reviews that we've gotten.
Yeah, all of the above, actually. Yeah, and I have Instagram pulled up here, so we can do that as well.
So we have had the best month ever in the history of horror movie talk by many-fold.
Yeah,
at least double.
By the end of the month, it will be a landslide month.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And it's due to us releasing that Bly Manor after show, which got us a ton of downloads and got us ranking really high on Apple Podcast movie review podcarts. With that wider audience, we have unlocked a new segments of listeners, and I'm realizing this. I'm like, oh,
we should have called this "It Came From Karen."
That's not fair. I don't want more bad reviews, but
if they identify as Karen, you can only be offended by the words that I just said if you know you're a Karen.
True. Any comment we read is not a Karen. Those are different people.
But you have to admit there is a little Karen in everyone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Thank you.
So with that wider audience, I realized, like, okay, The Haunting of Bly Manor, it's on Netflix. It's super popular. And there's going to be, like, people that don't normally watch horror movies that really love that show.
Oh, yeah.
And are just wanting to...
It's a fabulous drama. I mean, it's a beautiful story just for anybody to watch.
It's women-led. It's a great show. We loved it.
Is it scary?
A little bit. I wouldn't call
Not super
that
scary. You would actually like it.
Yeah,
I think
I've been nervous to watch it because
you should watch it.
Scary.
Yeah, you'd have a good time with it.
Hill House is more scary.
It's very touching.
Yeah. Hill House is more scary. Like, it scared me, but Bly Manor is it's more, I mean, you've seen Turn of the Screw like many times before. So turns out a lot of this new audience isn't a huge fan of our humor or us as a podcast.
Yeah, just generally.
Our professionalism or lack thereof.
Yeah, even like down to calling us names.
Like, I've always been kind of cognizant that we aren't so politically correct.
Get into
on
it.
The podcast,
yeah.
And I admit we tell some misogynistic jokes for the sake of jokedom.
Now, what is misogyny to you? Because I'll tell you the actual definition.
Okay, let's hear the definition.
The definition of misogyny is to be boy, I don't want to use the wrong word here, but it's to be tremendously prejudiced against women. Yeah. So that's what misogyny means.
Right.
So go on.
I definitely think we tell some jokes that are jokes that I would not tell to my grandma. You know, they're in poor taste by design, but we usually call that out of like, that is in bad taste, and we should feel bad about that, even though we're laughing at it.
Yeah, I have 2 girls and a wife. I love women.
That excuse always works. Everyone always receives that.
Well, not only that, but my favorite part of every movie is the part with the women.
Right. Yes.
Right.
So
basically why I go to movies.
So here we've got given enough advance. So
let's
here are some of these our recent reviews in Apple Podcast. We had 3 one-star reviews in a row.
Ooh.
Yeah, in a row. They're all vaguely very similar to each other.
Yeah, David,
just read them.
He's under the conspiracy that these might be the same person, which I
can't rule it out.
Could be, but I don't think so. Okay. Here's the first one, was on Wednesday by Soch 2000, SOCH 2000. Anyways, it says, generally speaking, the listener is... Okay, so it's titled Annoying and Funny Host That... I don't have the full title. It says, generally speaking, the listener is left waiting for the host to move on from their self-indulgent talk that only they think is interesting. They desperately need a woman on the show. Aaron, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
So problem solved.
You're welcome.
The 2 guys apparently think they're really funny and get caught up in unfunny cracks and then laughing, highly annoying, cackling laughs.
I don't disagree with any part of this review
all of this is ringing true. Very true. At their unfunny cracks. Every now and then the hosts play a sample of a song that has some connection to the episode they're reviewing, gets lame real fast.
Again, I have no qualm.
Yes.
This person is based.
Right. The listener is just waiting for them to move on. The hosts then get caught up in debating what years the show takes place in, down to whether it's mid-'80s or late 80s.
The nerve of talking about the show that we're discussing.
I know.
And trying to figure out when it happened. Jeez.
Might have been mildly interesting if it took less than 30 seconds, but it goes on for several minutes. No one cares.
Several minutes, Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce. It goes on for several minutes.
Right. Finally, several times in the episode I listened to, one host tries to make a point.
This was me.
But then can't remember what exactly happened in the episode to properly back up his point. The host doesn't seem embarrassed by this, apparently doesn't realize that listeners are giving their show a try on the assumption that the hosts are professional and semi-experts on the show. They've created a podcast episode to review. Just shut up with your point if you can't remember how to back it up.
That seems like a lot of just extreme. This person seems like they're angry at something.
Well, it sounds like they downloaded the after show episode and were expecting one thing and got something else. So, I mean,
yeah, that's probably fair to say. But where's all this like seething anger coming from? Like, they talked about the year for minutes, and then he forgot what he was going to say, and he didn't seem embarrassed about it a little bit. And it's like, well, would it have been better pod if I had been embarrassed?
I mean, yes, there's a point to be made of we don't edit
right
as much as we probably should.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Like, you know how long it takes to edit?
Nobody hates me more than me.
We don't pay.
You can't do it.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Nobody hates me more than me.
No, you're only confirming every self-hatred and self-doubt I have. So, I mean, it only is taking away my confidence. That's not really there.
Right.
So, anyways, yeah. So, yeah, Shu did not get, well, I don't know if it was a she. It could have been a he. Got what they wanted.
That was pretty misogynistic.
I know.
No, it was biased.
I mean, it did sound...
well said, Aaron.
I'm going to stop. But
just stop digging.
Okay. Second review from Spud Lover XXX, which you'd think would be pretty, anyways. Titled Yikes, 1 star. Your run-of-the-mill misogyny shrugged off as jokes on a podcast. Why is every mention of a lesbian couple on Bly Manor followed by a discussion about gagging on dicks? A crackhead joke about a black character?
There's that cackling laugh.
Really? The soundboard gags get old quick. You're right. These are the same points. Gain no insight or even a chuckle from the 4 to 5 episodes I listened to. Just another podcast from 2 boring white dudes that no one needs to hear from. I'm sure they think they're really funny.
Your compliment was sufficient, Lewis.
This one I find really interesting.
If you don't shut your fucking mouth, I will kill you.
She didn't like the drops?
This one I found really interesting. Mostly because they said... I gained no insight or even a chuckle from 4 to 5 episodes. That's half of the after show.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they gave a real shot and they just didn't like it.
That's not just didn't like it. Fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like, they spent their time, boiling over in anger. Just being like, these fucking assholes. And you know what really happened? They enjoyed 4 to 5 episodes, and then we said we hit that trigger word somewhere in the 5th or 6th episode, and then they just...
because when is it revealed that they're lesbians? That's pretty far into it, isn't it?
It's like the 3rd or 4th episode, I think.
I don't know. We don't remember episodes.
No, I'm not even embarrassed.
We really should have. Not even embarrassed by it.
It is.
Okay. The mention that why is every mention of lesbian couple on Bly Manor followed by a discussion about gagging on dicks?
Sabrina, don't just stare at it. Eat it.
That's not fair. Just because we talk about gagging on dicks all the time,
there's nothing I love more than gagging.
It has no relation to the lesbian couple. It just so happens that we talk about gagging on dicks a lot.
I love gagging on dicks.
It's just
you hear my voice. What do you think? What do you think happened last night?
All right, so I remember. One, the circumstances in which we brought up gagging on dicks. I don't think we said gagging on dicks. We made the sound of gagging on dicks. And it was in reference to the intimacy of brushing pinkies together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Which, that was if there was anything that had a relationship to gagging on dicks, it was...
The pinky brush.
The pinky brush or the fingers touching.
This bit is really cathartic. I'm enjoying it.
I know. This is great. The crackhead joke about the black character, really? Okay.
That's on you.
That's on me.
Yeah.
I even said, I can't remember how I addressed it, but I admitted that this is problematic. But, come on. The character, no matter what race they were, fell down a well and cracked their head. Cracked
Their
head.
head.
Crackhead. I mean,
Well,
it's just.
And
I'm
look,
just trying to make comedy
and
here,
look,
folks.
If you're assuming that we're white males, you got another thing coming. So your point about racism, guess who's a racist now? Because I identify as a female. So what now? I just got done.
News to me.
I gag on dicks every night.
on the people that reached out to us on social media, which I can completely commend, like, we can respond to your concerns and own up to them. We'll read those next, but this is the last 1-star review on Friday.
But I mean, I would also like to point out, like, we've got like a very small handful of 1-star reviews, and they just hurt so bad because we care so much about that kind of stuff. But we have like well over 230 or 40 5-star reviews.
Right.
Like,
it hurts. It hurts my feelings, and I feel I will own up to some of it.
Aaron, how much of this, what is your take on all of this? How much of this do you think we deserve? How much of these 1-star reviews? Because it hurts my heart.
Well, okay. To be completely honest, I don't listen to every single episode, so
neither does my wife or family.
It's hard to say that there's a pattern because I'm not a super fan that listens to everyone. However,
you know me and David, though, right?
Oh yeah, I know you guys. I assume that the people that are giving the 1-star reviews based off the Haunting of Bly Manor,
sure,
or whatever it is that what it is? Okay, and like, I assume that they are coming in cold to your style and sense of humor, and the people that
gonna
stick
have to put
around,
quotation marks around sense of humor.
the people that stick around, like, that have been listening to the podcast for years, or the people that are new that started at the beginning and listen to like nearly every podcast, like, those people get it. They get your humor. They like your style. They like your personalities. And the people that are coming in cold, I think they just are expecting something, and then they listen to you guys and they don't get what they're expecting to get.
Right.
Which is probably, honestly, like, the kind of like YouTube reviews and,
I mean, there's
podcasts,
plenty of like general audience
like
horror movie reviews.
Yeah, I mean, like,
feature a man and a woman.
Oh yeah.
But there's like, it's all like kind of copied and prepackaged off of like the Entertainment Hollywood and Entertainment Tonight stuff. Like, it's all kind of like surface level,
filtered.
and
I'm really liking this analysis.
They
by
get
the way.
their like points, their talking points from like a team of writers, and like, so people that try to copy,
they're real professional and polished, and they do a real good job.
They don't forget the plot of the show that they're reviewing.
No, keep going.
So like amateur podcasters that kind of model their podcasts off of that, I assume they're like trying to be like Access Hollywood, or they're trying to be like, appeal to a broad audience and speak fast and cut out all the filler, and like just kind of have a bunch of hits right after another beat points.
Right.
And like, you guys have consistently since the beginning had super long episodes where you guys just talk forever, and they're really long. And I mean, I know and love you both, and I hear you guys talk all the time. So the idea of sitting down and listening to more talking from you guys is
exhausting.
It's exhausting. And so I do listen to an occasional episode, but it's not okay. It's okay. So here's my opinion about the negative reviews. They're wanting something else, and they listen to you guys, and then they get latched onto something negative that you've said, or something that they don't like, and then they feel strongly about going to the Apple Podcast reviews and giving you a negative review because something has affected them badly. People that are reaching out on social media, like to have a dialogue with you, I think they're probably nice people that want to like find out what's going on. And like, it's not for everyone. I mean, like, I don't like walnuts. So, like, if someone puts walnuts in brownies or in cookies, I will not eat those brownies or cookies.
Speaking of nuts, if you go to manscaped.com, use code HMT at checkout for 20% off your order and free shipping.
That is really super. How a nitwit like you gets a taste.
But I would like to hear what the other social media stuff says.
Wait, we got one more 1-star review because I'm not done self-flagellating. This is from someone. The title is pretty bad. 1 star. Hosts are constantly going off on boring personal tangents or spending time on insignificant details of the show or movie. They struggle to actually remember the plot. Which is interesting. That's like kind of like, so we struggle to remember the plot, but we're very, we spend time on insignificant detail.
Which is it? Yeah, which would you prefer?
Like, do they want like an actual rundown of the plot of the show? Because I think we did that.
Look, here's the thing. Okay. You can go to the profiles of any of these. This is the most satisfying part of anybody who reviews.
I couldn't see how to do that. How did you do that?
Oh, you just click their name. It may work better on my app on Windows. So I use the podcast app on Windows to view these things. But anyway, the most satisfying thing about any review service like Yelp or Google or Apple Podcast is you go, this person gave a 1-star review. I wonder what they think of other stuff. And then you just see this laundry list of 1-star reviews. They're just a dissatisfied, unhappy person. And it's like, well, you didn't pay anything to get the podcast. It was free to you.
I listened to 4 or 5 podcast episodes, and you wasted my time.
And I held a gun to their head the whole time to make sure they listened. It's like, okay, well, it just seems like a lot of effort to... Anyway, the point is, thank you for the bad review. We'll try and do better. Okay. And I'm sorry that your life sucks.
Now I want to talk seriously about how I take this. Like, I know I'm like being salty and having like pushing back against this. The reality of how I take this is it does bother me that we bother people. And I don't mean to do that. It does bother me that we're not, palatable to a larger general audience, because I would like to be. Part of that is just our personality and our humor. I don't know how to fix that.
You can't please everyone.
But I look at our metrics and it's like, yes, our listenership is 66% men, 33% women. And if you compare that to the demographics of horror in general, it's usually more split, and even a little, I think it's like 51% women. It's much more weighted on the paranormal side and less on the slasher side, as one can imagine. But I think that's actually the movies that we like too, more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like, we're leaving some women on the table by offending them or saying things that are not welcoming to them. And really
or it could just be that we're dudes. You know, maybe ladies don't want to listen to dudes.
I mean, the point...
That's not it.
It could be that, though. I mean, there are some people for whom that makes a difference.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't think in general that's necessarily true. Because, I mean, I sometimes listen to...
Well, there's a wide variety of reasons that it could be. But,
right.
Right. But, I mean, whether the host is male or female doesn't necessarily weigh on my decision.
Sure. It doesn't necessarily weigh on my decision either, but... One of the things that a lot of the 1-star reviews that we tend to get have in common is they sure could use a woman on the show.
And I don't disagree.
Sure. But in any event, I mean, that's one reason that someone might not.
Yeah, we got to get
listen.
Like a, never mind. See, I'm editing myself.
A real dime.
Yeah. A real intelligent female voice. So this is actually the most impactful conversation we had on social media, and this is like what made me think most about it, because this woman is very intelligent.
Were we allowed, or did she allow us to share this?
I won't say her name.
Okay.
Because she mentions, we invited her on the show and she said she couldn't come on because her job made it not really a good idea for her to do that. Anyway, she says on Instagram, "Hi, I found your pod and binged 3 episodes in a row. Love your horror commentary and so excited to see you covered Bly Manor. You guys eloquently identified the central terror of that show. As a parent, which is to leave our kids alone, one question, is it part of the brand to make a lot of pussy and cum jokes? It's super uncomfortable as a female listener. I'd love to go back and listen to old episodes, but I'm wondering if it will just be more of the same." And this puts us in a unique situation because the answer is, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry.
Yeah. And she even brings up horror porno.
You got it. Look, you got to joke about what you know.
Right.
Pussy and cum.
So she mentions,
I can't make jokes that aren't about those. I don't know stuff.
She says horror, like a lot of things, is tough for women because it has a long history of combining sex and violence in an exploitative way.
Now,
which you have a comment about.
I have a comment about that specific sentence. Can you read that sentence one more time?
Horror, like a lot of things, is tough for women.
It's tough for a woman.
Okay, because it has a long history of combining sex and violence in an exploitative way.
That's what's horrible about it. That's why it's horror. It's exploitative.
It's taboo.
It's violent. And it's sexual. What can you think of that's scarier than that? Of course. That to say it's difficult for a woman, that to me is kind of hamstringing yourself as a woman. Like, I can't handle things that are sexual and violent. It's like,
I think
that's the scary part of horror.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
There is a point. There is a point at which
Aaron can shed light on what I'm missing.
Okay,
Aaron, you tell us.
So what she's saying is what's difficult for women is not that it's scary or violent. I mean, for me personally, it's because it's scary and violent, but because it's the perspective on it that the film gives. So, like, you know, the scandal recently about the Netflix film Cuties?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that one, there's like the whole argument between kind of two ideas of, is this glorifying what the subject is about, or is it just like using it to elicit a discomforting feeling,
right?
And I honestly, like, a lot of horror definitely is a lot more from a male perspective of how can we get as many boobs in this film as possible. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that like serves the story or serves to add to the atmosphere or the fear of the story. Like, let's just put as many boobs in as possible.
I mean, there's definitely there's definitely a motivation for a certain segment of the horror genre and horror films to exploit the sexual attraction of the female characters, and, you know, because they just want to get more dicks in seats.
Okay, so yes, but like what she's saying is difficult about it is that it's obvious. Like, and then it's obvious that, like, if you're I guess a straight cis female, like, that is attracted to men and is not interested in seeing gratuitous female nudity, like, it's very obvious that, like, when you see gratuitous stuff like that, this movie is not for you. Thank you for buying this ticket, but we're making this movie for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you kind of have to force yourself to get around that and think, okay, well, maybe I can still like this movie, even though it's got this stuff that I know is obviously not targeted at me.
This is a good point. And it's definitely a good point, because it makes me think, it makes me go down such a fucking rabbit hole that because my immediate reaction is to go, I wish I saw more dicks in movies. Literally.
Right.
Literally. That's part of the reason why I thought Possessor Uncut was so good. It was like, well, here's a movie that's not afraid to show everything.
I mean,
and
even the women have dicks on that one.
And like, seriously, I was like, Finally, like a movie that's not afraid to get as crazy as you can possibly get, which apparently crazy is showing dicks.
Right.
But anyway,
I mean, everyone can agree that it's more disturbing.
So in that regard, I was like, well, I don't have a problem with seeing, like, if I saw a movie that was all about showing dicks, I'd be like, In fact, I intentionally watch those movies pretty frequently. I watch porn a decent amount. And in any event, then I have to go, but wait, what she's talking about, but this is coming from a female perspective, which is a way different perspective than mine.
Women are not clamoring to see more dicks. That's not what it's about. No. They don't really want to see dicks.
It's not a one-to-one relationship.
It's weird that I want to see more dicks than women do. But then again, I do like choking on them. So.
Yeah, so it's not like a one-to-one like ratio of like boobs to dicks. It's just very obvious to women when it's not intended for you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like David, did you go see Emma when it came out?
I don't even know what that is.
When's the last time you watched Pride and Prejudice?
But I don't get upset about it.
No, but if your wife like asked you to watch that, you'd be like, ugh. Because it's totally not made for you at all.
Yeah, but it doesn't make me upset.
But you'd be upset if you're forced to watch it, right?
Well,
I guess.
If your wife started a podcast about...
It's a big F.
About period dramas and was constantly asking you to watch them with her because she had to watch them for the podcast, and it was like every single week another horror movie needed to be watched, and she'd be saying, come watch this with me, it's really fun,
and
I think you're gonna like it.
I think maybe in the long term,
I'm kind and respectful to my wife because I love her very much and because I love women. So yeah, I'd probably do that.
So I think over time, if you were to watch like a ton of these movies, you would be bothered by the fact that like the male perspective is not represented in it at all.
I think you're assuming a lot about me.
No, I think it's natural for people to be like, I'm rolling my eyes because it's giving like the women's perspective on men.
Sure.
And they're wrong.
I don't mean to hamstring this because what she goes on to say is I actually respect this this person quite a bit.
So she says it irks me when podcasts double down on this commentary with this gross commentary like sponsored by titties. The bit that opens the Lodge episode. I kept listening, loved the discussion of the movie, and then got to the end only to have to turn it off when the porno or horror segment. No offense, but that stuff sucks. It makes female listeners feel unwelcome. So that one, so yes, I accept that horror is a lot of the times exploitational to women. Like it's not, I don't look at like slashers and say like, oh yes, this movie, which is transparently an attempt to show as many tits as possible while murdering the same young women that those tits are attached to. Like, and that's enjoyable. Like there's something there. Like that's not nothing. That's not just like, oh, it's titillating and or that's horrible. It's like, no, that's still like kind of tapping into a dark part of what a certain audience wants.
Yeah.
Like it is disturbing.
It's disturbing that audience exists.
On a meta level.
Right.
It's not just disturbing because of what it is. It's also disturbing that it's like
this is what passes for entertainment.
Yeah, and like Siskel and Ebert hated slashers for this reason because it was literally just like, it's just a bunch of teenagers getting murdered. That's all it is. And for a certain segment, people love that shit. I don't like slashers because there's nothing really there for me.
Yeah, me neither.
So I understand the exploitation. Like, if she didn't listen to the horror porno segment, I totally get it why you turn it off. But I think what we do with that is kind of...
It's a joke in and of itself.
It's a joke in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron, what do you think? You were on the first one.
Oh, geez.
Like, part of it is it's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be funny in how over the top these clips are.
I mean, it inherently won't be for everyone, but how did it strike you?
I thought it was funny. It made me uncomfortable, but I didn't feel targeted.
Right. I felt uncomfortable too. Did you feel uncomfortable?
Not even remotely.
Okay. All right. So anyways,
I was so excited.
I really, really appreciated the conversation we had with this woman. She's very intelligent, was fair. I think we, admitted that, this podcast is not for everyone. And I wish that she would keep listening, but I totally understand if she doesn't. And that's the part that's hard. That's like, I really like this person and I would like them to like the podcast, but I admit that maybe they won't, Look,
I mean, you can't be everything to everyone. I think that's the bottom line takeaway. I'd like to add something to it came from social media. I want to congratulate Bugsy Siegel, who, if you continue listening to the end of the show, assuming anybody made it to the end of the show, Bugsy made a rap song about horror movie talk, and we play it as our outro now. But he has, he's a rapper, and has created a lot of rap songs. And last night he actually they played his song at Monster Jam in Cowboys Stadium. For those of you who don't know, not only is Bugsy a huge horror movie buff, but he's also a Monster Truck fan, and he made a song specifically about Monster Jam. And there's talks about Gravedigger and all this shit. And I don't know anything about Monster Jam. What we should really be talking about is a little bit less about, women and whether or not we're catering to their specific needs, and more about the Monster Truck segment that we're definitely missing out on. I don't think we have a lot of Monster Truck fans.
Right.
But in any event, if you are a Monster Truck fan, you can catch Bugsy's, one of his other songs, being played apparently at Monster Truck events.
Yeah, at Monster. It was his design to have that happen.
Right.
He wanted it to be played
at Monster Jam
and have it be a thing.
And then they asked him. And so congratulations, Bugsy. Hooray!
That's so awesome.
All right, one more woman that hates us. Also on Instagram, we did get permission to talk about her. On Instagram, she's coolest chick from the grave.
Yay! I love this girl.
Starts out with, she's not a follower, so it was like a request to send.
Should we read this back and forth? Like you be you? Yes.
I'll be her.
Okay, let me get my phone.
You be us.
You
be I'm me.
Don't jerk me around.
Jerk me around.
Okay, so this was on Instagram, you say?
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta pull up Instagram here. Oh, actually, maybe I have it here.
So I just want to set the scene that we get a notification if someone wants to send us a message, and if we want to receive it to respond to it, we could just say no or delete it or ignore it, but we do get to read the message before we accept it.
Right.
And the message, which is the opener.
This is tough for me to find. I apparently have to do it strictly on my phone here.
The opener for this is, you guys eat duck at horror podcasts.
Oh?
I just tried your horror podcast, in quotation marks, and you guys have no clue what makes the horror genre great.
Oh, wow. Go on. Go on.
All you guys do is make fun of horror greats that many horror geeks like myself loves. That's fucked.
Oh.
Halloween 3 is amazing, by the way.
So you're saying you like Halloween?
No, I love Halloween. I'm a diehard Halloween fan.
We have learned that by not giving Halloween a 10 out of 10, we have alienated a section of fanatics, and they certainly let us know.
I've loved Halloween since I was 6.
Wow. Well, we gave Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 2018 very favorable scores. We liked Halloween. We just don't love it. And, taste is subjective, even in the horror genre.
Not you hate Halloween 3, my favorite out of the Halloween franchise, by the way.
David gave it a decent score. I hated it.
You shitted on and made fun of Halloween 3 the whole podcast. He made fun of it was while.
There are many diehard Halloween fans that hate Season of the Witch.
Not true.
Maybe you can help us to understand some of the more confusing parts of Halloween 3.
I'm cool with that. Sorry I was a bitch. I'm bipolar and passionate about horror. One of the reasons I love Halloween 3 so much is that I was born in the same year, 1982.
Good reason.
Another reason is because it's fun, okay? Not the greatest horror movie, but every cool in my book.
What was the deal with the robots?
Another reason I enjoy Halloween 3 is because I love trick-or-treating, and the movie is mostly about trick-or-treating. To be honest, I'm not sure what the deal with the robots. I look at this movie as so bad it's good.
David agrees with that. It was fun mostly.
Sorry about being a bitch. I'll give you guys another try, and I think we should leave off at that.
Yes. Listen, I went on to have a long conversation with what's her handle? I have to.
Coolest chick from the grave.
Yeah, coolest chick from the grave on Instagram. She's a total sweetheart, and I love her to death. And if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that I didn't respond very much at following our very long conversation that night. I was kind of tied up in my mother-in-law's funeral and grieving and all that kind of thing. And it's been a rough week for me. But I will say that I almost instantly could tell that we were going to be friends. And that's why we kept that conversation going, because I knew you were the kind of person who you turned out to be.
Right. A couple points that I wanted to make of this, because it's confusing to me that she's the diehard Halloween fan.
She's the sweetest.
She's great. I love her too. And then she says that we hated Halloween 3, my favorite out of the Halloween franchise, by the way.
Don't try and pick this apart, Bryce.
First of all,
this is why we're movie reviewers, by
Halloween
the
Halloween
way.
3 is a total non sequitur for the rest of the Halloween franchise. Halloween equals Michael Myers for the entire franchise except for Season of the Witch.
Right.
So if you're saying the one that's your favorite is unlike every other Halloween movie, are you really a fan of the franchise?
How dare you question her and her taste and her love of Halloween?
I don't doubt it. But then she also says,
good question,
she also says it's so bad it's good, which is problematic because it's like, is it your favorite because it's bad? I mean, I guess that's acceptable.
But it's shocking how fast anyone, right, if pressed, because Magnus is a huge fan. Magnus, our super fan from Sweden, is a huge fan of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch as well. And I would wager that all I have to do to anyone who says that Halloween 3 is a great movie, keeping in mind I liked Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but all I'd have to do to get you to fold is start asking you a few questions. Just a few basic, simple questions. What's the deal with the Irish people? Why is it Silver Shamrock? What's happening with the laser? What happened? Why the bugs come out of the guy's head?
Why does he want to kill his entire market?
Why? What's the deal with the Stonehenge? How'd they get that there? Why is it in California? Why not in Ireland? Wouldn't this whole thing make a lot more sense if it was in Ireland? Huh.
How dare you, first of all.
I just basic questions is all you got to start asking people, and they'll
So anyways, it just felt like I was getting whiplash between, like, it's my favorite and it's also bad, and also you guys are great, and also you're the worst, suck dick. And it's like I was
getting jerked around
between like two opposite ends of a spectrum.
Hey, we got some patrons.
2 poles almost.
We got some patrons to thank. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to get them all.
Yeah.
We got a new one while we were talking.
Oh, really? Well, that's awesome. Okay, so those are the major ones I wanted to talk about. Mostly like the bad reviews because, honestly, secretly, we love them the most. Because any 5-star review we get makes us smile, and we're like, yeah, that's validating, but also we don't believe it.
Yeah, no. Every single good review, it's a flash in the pan. It's like, oh, that's nice. I bet they don't mean it.
Like, oh.
That's like not accepting compliments that are...
Exactly.
It's not a choice. It's not, this is how I identify.
Yeah.
So, by the way, the ones that I do believe are our patrons, because they put their money where their mouth is, and they they, help support the show, keep the lights on over here. And like I said before, this is a free show and we do it to try and entertain, and whether or not we achieve that goal is obviously questionable. But in any event, our new patrons that I have to thank are Rojo from the Bronx, who I love. He calls into our show fairly frequently. Also, Jeremy D., Brendan C., and Mike R. Thank you guys, all of you, for coming out and supporting the show on our Patreon. And, they have access to varying degrees of, perks.
We did get some good reviews on the Bly Manor after show too.
Yeah, we got a bunch more than bad reviews.
So we accept it. We want to understand, and sometimes we're befuddled by the hate, but some of it we understand.
Yeah, it's not hard to kick a dog when he's down, and we're always down. So.
It's the way of America. We are the underdogs. Like we're just like the little horror movie podcast that could. And then all of a sudden we get to number 7 on the charts and it's like, fuck these guys.
I liked your Britney Spears analogy, comparing us to Britney Spears.
Uh-huh.
So we're the Britney Spears.
I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, that's in an upcoming episode that you guys will certainly enjoy.
Okay. Let's move on to our final bit. This is a new bit. Since we want to adjust and be a little more sensitive to the women's perspective and understanding, and be a little bit of a more kinder, gentler podcast, I've asked Aaron to come on and present a new game.
I thank you so much for working on a new game for us, Aaron.
Yeah,
that we call Sense and Stabability.
Sense and Stabability.
And I'll let Aaron describe the premise.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready to play Sense and Stabability?
So describe to us
about it.
how we're, yeah.
Okay, so I am not particularly fond of porno.
Horror porno?
Or porno in general, from
one
my
of our
understanding.
best.
Yeah, pretty
bits?
much. I mean, I love you guys, but man, I just don't like playing that game. So I made up my own game.
Cool.
With Bryce's help.
So
for
you pulled
some
your
guidance.
own porno clips, like the porn that you like.
No, this is...
Is it like real raunchy?
Like
or
Sense and Stabability. So they're stabbing them with their dick, right?
No.
Oh.
A
No,
little more
this is
softcore stuff? Maybe like show, don't tell, or like tell, don't show kind of.
like the softest you can imagine. So what I've done is I've pulled clips
An
from...
erotic reading.
I've pulled clips from horror movies, and I've pulled clips from movies that I like.
Okay.
And
if there was a Venn diagram, it would be 2 circles separated very far from each other.
yes.
Okay.
So what I've done is I have these clips, and what you are going to do is listen to the clips, and you have the ability to get 2 points. 1 point for telling whether it is a horror movie or
an Aaron
movie. And the other point is if you can tell which movie it is.
Cool.
And I will be keeping score.
Could we get a 3rd point by saying which character it is?
No.
Okay.
Have you been snooping in her
I
files?
have not. She did this all by herself. She pulled all the clips herself.
That question, knowing you, it makes me...
There might be one that I know.
I think there's one that he might know.
It's interesting that you even know that much.
Okay, let's begin with Sense and Stabability.
Okay, I'm going to start with an easy one.
Okay.
Get us warmed up to it.
Stay away from me.
Why?
I just want to go back to my room.
Why?
I'm very confused. I just need a chance to think things over.
Can I go?
Go, David.
I know both of them.
This is definitely a horror movie. This is Shelley Duvall's character in The Shining.
Yep. I concur.
Okay, both of you. Yes, that is correct.
3 points.
No, 2 points.
No, okay. He said... Oh, wait, no.
sorry.
Okay.
No. 2 points. Okay, so good. 2 points each. All right.
right.
Here is the next one.
Nobody home. Too late. She's drowned and we're murderers.
Matthew, come on.
You go first.
No, you go first.
I'm going to say that's an Aaron movie.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right.
She's drowned. Okay. It seems like an Anna Green Gables sort of scenario. But I couldn't say for sure. I know that's not a movie.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Bryce, what do you think?
I agree. I'm shocked that you know Anne of Green Gables.
Is it Anna Green
It's
Gables?
totally Anna Green Gables. I don't know if it's Anna Green Gables or one of the other movies, but it's from the series.
Is it really?
It absolutely is, yes.
Wow.
Very good.
I thought I was going to dominate this game, and I'm shook.
Yeah, that's the scene where they're playing, they recite the poem Lady of Shalott, and she's in the boat that has holes in the bottom, and she nearly drowns.
Remember this. Yeah, I watched that several times.
The girls freak out. Very good. Okay, now we're going to go to... the score is now 4-4.
The Blackberry current part where she gets drunk on the...
You mean raspberry cordial?
Damn.
Come on.
Damn.
Blackberry current. This fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So stupid.
The Pickety Witch. Who's got a kiss for the Pickety Witch? The Pickety Witch. The Pickety Witch. Who's got a kiss for the Pickety Witch?
Is it Theodore?
No, pardon, miss, I'm only a stranger.
Then have a kiss on account.
You go first on this one. The Pickety Witch.
This one's hard.
Pickety Witch. Pickety Witch. I have...
Because it could be like... I mean, it definitely sounds like a period movie.
Are you saying that this is an Aaron movie and not a horror movie?
No, I was saying that someone that has a period would like it.
Wow.
It's got the violins. It could be like a Jane Austen thing, but it also could be like a flashback to like Hocus Pocus or something. I'm gonna say it's an Aaron movie, and I have no idea what it's from.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'm obviously going to also agree that it is an Aaron movie. So far, we're tied. I think we have 4 points each. I know it's not, but I just couldn't get... just because I don't have a better guess, I'm going to say this is Titanic.
Okay. All right. So that's...
Because they have lots of little jiggy sort of tunes they play down in the lower decks there.
Right.
Okay, so your guess is Aaron movie, you don't know which movie, and David, you think it's Titanic.
Yeah.
That is a big goose egg for both of you.
Oh.
This is from Sleepy Hollow.
Oh my God! I thought it sounded like Johnny Depp. I was like, that fucking... He's all right. I was like, well, that sounds like Johnny fucking Depp.
Got him.
Damn.
That crossed my mind. I'm not going to lie to you. I did think Sleepy Hollow for a minute.
Okay. All right, next one. Wow.
All right. Okay.
Failed that one.
Clip number 4.
What a superbly featured room, and what excellent boiled potatoes. Many years since I've had such an exemplary vegetable. To which of my fair cousins should I compliment the excellence of the cooking?
Mr. Collins, we are perfectly able to keep a cook.
Excellent. I'm very pleased the estate can afford such a living.
Wouldn't it be weird to live in a time where your biggest concern is like being able to keep a cook?
Yeah, hey, asshole.
Man, the things I miss out by only watching horror movies.
Okay, so David, you go first.
I'm I went first on the first two. I think Bryce should have to
Okay,
go
Bryce,
first.
go first.
Okay, I think. I mean, this is definitely a period piece. It's definitely an Aaron movie.
Potatoes.
Feels like a Regency thing. I'm going to say Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
I will mirror him. I was thinking it sounded like Pride and Prejudice or like Jane Eyre or something like that.
Okay. I'm going to add yes, you are correct. Both of you. I'm going to add an extra bonus point on this one. Can you tell me which version of Pride and Prejudice it is?
What?
This is for a bonus point. Since you both got 2 points on that one.
I could not. I definitely give that to Bryce.
This is the what's it? Keira Knightley.
Yes, correct.
The Keira Knightley version, is that the official version?
There are
Depends
multiple.
on who you ask, David. I mean, the 90s
Bryce striking out.
Miniseries is
striking ahead
big one
here
for a lot of people.
Okay, so here's clip number 5.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
That wasn't clip number 5.
Sorry, that was me.
That's all right.
I just can't believe
that was a
Bryce.
drop. All right, here's clip number 5.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Kill Claudio.
Not for the wide world.
Wow. Oh, man. Boy. Not for the wide world. Can I get that one more time? Can we play that again?
Sure thing.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Kill Claudio.
Not for the wide world.
Oh, man. This is tough. I feel like this. I'm gonna get roasted for this. But is this the Princess Bride? Is that Carrie Elwes' voice? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say it's Princess Bride, and this is a Aaron movie. Obviously not a horror movie, but maybe. I don't know.
It's an Aaron movie.
Okay.
My first instinct was it's a Shakespeare movie. But now that I'm thinking of the dialogue, it's not Shakespearean enough. My first instinct was it Midsummers? No, not Midsommar. Which is the one with Keanu Reeves in it?
I'm not going to help you. You have to answer.
Much Ado About Nothing. That's the one I thought. I'm just going to say that.
You're going to say that one?
Yeah.
Well, Bryce, you're right.
Yes!
Wow. It's Much Ado About Nothing?
Yeah, it's Much Ado About Nothing. And that was Kenneth Branagh.
I've never seen that. I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So
it is Shakespearean.
Did Bryce win? Is that the whole game?
He's ahead by 1 point.
Okay. No,
He's got
2 points.
Oh, yeah, 2. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's ahead by 2 points.
Nice try.
So
Aaron.
he is at 9, and you are at 7. Yeah. Okay. Here's clip number 6. We could do clip number 7 too.
Okay.
Okay, let's do clip number 6.
What happened to him, Mrs. Daly?
He was playing at the beach with his friends, and they said the tide must have caught them off guard. You've seen her, haven't you?
She was there this morning in the fire.
She's always there. You mustn't blame yourself.
Blame myself? For what?
For not listening to the others, for not staying away from the house.
I don't understand.
Ooh. I think it's your turn to go first.
Play it again.
Wow. That whole
Really?
thing?
Yeah.
What's your guess before I play it again?
Your unofficial
I think
guess.
Wow, this would be like a hard one. The one that I'm thinking of, it would be hard to say whether it's horror or your movie. Play it again.
What happened to him, Mrs. Daly?
He was playing at the beach with his friends, and they said the tide must have caught them off guard. You've seen her, haven't you?
She was there this morning in the fire.
She's always there. You mustn't blame yourself.
Blame myself for what?
For not listening to the others, for not staying away from the house.
I don't understand.
Wow.
Do it.
I'm being thrown by something because I feel like I know that that's Daniel Radcliffe's voice. But I can't... So I'd think it would be one of the Harry Potter movies, but I've seen all of them.
You fell asleep in most of them.
I'm going to
That
say...
makes sense.
I'm thinking of like a spooky house and someone dying by drowning. I can imagine a spooky house in it. I'm going to say it's a Harry Potter movie. That's one of your movies.
Which one?
Do I have to say?
Yeah. There's 7 different movies.
There's 8.
8 different movies.
The Deathly Hallows.
Okay, that's
Part
Bryce's
1 or
guess.
2?
1.
Okay.
I'm going to say this is a horror. And I'm going to say... So you said it was a Aaron movie?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's a horror. And this is obviously The Haunting of Bly Manor, Episode 1. Lady of the Lake. They're talking about the Lady of the Lake.
Well, David is right that it is a horror movie.
Yee.
But it's The Woman in Black. Starring Daniel Radcliffe.
Damn, dude. You did a good job.
Damn, I forgot about that.
You did the best bad job I've ever seen.
Okay, so
Bryce gets nothing.
I get nothing.
And I get one.
He gets 1.
Okay, so I think we should do the tiebreaker because
I did give that bonus point in the middle just for knowing which Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah,
okay.
That's not fair.
So this is the tiebreaker.
I have a chance to tie it and even win it.
Yes.
Do not repeat what I said then.
I've been a selfish being all my life. As a child, I was given good principles, but was left to follow them in pride and conceit. And such I might still have been good for you. Dearest, loveliest Elizabeth.
That's a pretty hopeful little interlude at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
This is an Aaron movie. And I'm going to say that this is oh my god, I'm losing it. What's the name of it? It was released in 2007. It stars Keira Knightley. It was nominated for Best Picture. I can't fucking think of the name of it. It starts with an A.
You're thinking of Atonement.
Atonement. I'm going to say this is Atonement. Thank you, Bryce.
I'm going to say it's an Aaron movie and that it's Pride and Prejudice again.
That was my first inclination. Was it's just another version of Pride and Prejudice?
And you're right. It is.
That's unfair.
Yeah, this is from the BBC miniseries Pride and Prejudice,
Oh,
starring
really?
Colin Firth.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I don't know.
Was it the...
Okay, so Bryce won by 1 point.
Way to go, Bryce.
Good job,
You
Bryce.
really know your wife better than me, but just by a little bit.
Oh, I guess the odds are stacked against you, aren't they?
Wow, man. Yeah, no, none of this stuff ever gets played in my house. Ever.
Well, you did very well.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be murdered.
My mom, I mean, I grew up with all this period stuff.
I can't believe you like. I guess it's true with like musicals too. Your mom listened to a lot of musicals.
Oh, it was brutal. It was. I got it from every angle because my mom loved all this period shit that I couldn't stand. She made me listen to classical music, which I actually enjoy. That's the one thing that my mom did that I really appreciated was like never stopped playing classical music. But at the time it was just rough, being a little kid. And then the other side was my dad wouldn't stop watching sports. And it was just like, oh God, I can't stand any of this.
All right. Thanks, Aaron, for preparing that.
Kidding.
That was a great game. One of our best games we've ever played.
Well, it had me, I was engaged the whole time, much more so than...
Well, I'm glad I provided a challenge for you.
Yeah. It was certainly challenging. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Again, if you got balls, go to manscaped.com. Cut that wavy mane.
Yeah, get your weeds all trimmed up.
25%. It's 20% off and free shipping
if you use code HMT at checkout.
Also, go to our website at horrormovietalk.com. There you'll find links to all of our social media. If you are an Apple product user, it would be great if you left us a review to counteract 3 1-star reviews in a row. But you live your life. You do what you need to do. I'm not going to tell you how many stars to give us, but if you're thinking of one, maybe don't. I don't know.
I say I'll bring all comers. It makes for good content.
Check out our group on Facebook. It's really jumping with horror movie fans.
Seems to grow exponentially. Seems like it just grows and grows.
And let us know what you think by calling our voicemail at...
That's, I believe it is 683-253-4468. Let's see here. Wow. No, Sting. I got one number off. It's 682-253-4468.
Okay. And until next time, this is Horror Movie Talk.
We love you. Have a good week.
Also, thank you, Aaron, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to the new patrons. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Drain addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner Robinson. Kiss Bryce Hansen. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipedes. David Doobie Day, scare him, no expert. And Global fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpods, taglines, and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, it's dinner rubs. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargain for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle biddies. Killer on the phone, ain't no sharing stove. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30-day shutter and jump scares ain't fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. Just show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty eyes stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, horror movie talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
Can I see one titty?
I just want to see one of your titties, girl.